Okay, let's just jump right in. Are you feeling like 2025 is just constantly throwing things at you?
Like you're always reacting.
Exactly. Hitting these unexpected walls, maybe in your business, maybe just trying to get better personally.
Yeah, and all the talk about AI, the economy shifting. It can feel like a lot, overwhelming even.
Totally. And if you're trying to build something or just improve yourself, burying your head in the sand, that seems like the fastest way to get left behind, right?
Absolutely. Denial is, it's not a strategy. It's interesting you bring this up because that's sort of the core of Ray Dalio's whole philosophy.
Ah, Dalio, the Bridgewater guy. Built a fortune basically by staring reality right in the face, didn't he?
Pretty much. His book, Principles, Life and Work, is basically a playbook for that.
Yeah.
Facing reality, learning hard from mistakes, building actual processes.
Which sounds, frankly, essential for a year like 2025. Things are moving so fast.
They really are. Having principles, having a system,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just nice to have anymore. It's like critical. So today, we're going to really dive deep, pull out the actionable stuff from Dalio.
Okay, good. Not just theory, but actual steps we can use, like an action plan for 2025 based on his ideas.
Exactly that. Concrete steps you can start using, like today.
All right. So, where do we start? Dalio's first big principle.
It's about reality, right?
Yeah.
Embracing it.
Yeah, his fundamental thing is embrace reality and deal with it. Simple as that. Wishing doesn't help.
He has that equation too, doesn't he? Something like pain plus reflection. Progress.
That's the one. Pain plus reflection, progress. It sounds maybe a bit blunt, but think about how relevant it is right now.
How so? With all the 2025 stuff.
Well, yeah, think about AI changing jobs, markets doing weird things, maybe struggling with remote teams. Complaining or dying it. Totally useless, according to Dalio.
So instead of just feeling the pain, we need to analyze it, reflect on it, understand why it's painful. That's where the progress comes from. You need clarity first, then you can work with reality, not against it.
Okay, I like that. So how do we turn that into something practical? Like, what are the first steps for someone listening right now?
Right, let's get practical. 4 steps to start. Step 1, starting today. When you feel that pain, that frustration, that, oof, this isn't working moment, acknowledge it, name it.
Don't just brush it off.
Exactly. Keep a really simple issue log. Could be a note on your phone, a document, whatever. Just jot down what happened, what felt painful or wrong about it.
So not just client meeting went bad, but more like, felt unprepared during the client Zoom, worried I lost their confidence because I couldn't answer that tech question clearly. Specific.
Precisely. Get specific about the feeling and the trigger.
Yeah.
Then, step 2, sometime this week, block out maybe 30, even 60 minutes. Call it reflection time.
Okay. Dedicated time.
Yes. Go through that issue log. For each pain point, ask yourself WHY. And don't stop at the first answer. Keep digging.
Like the 5 whys technique.
Kind of, yeah. Find the root cause. Using your example, the why isn't just couldn't answer the tech question. Maybe it's why couldn't I answer? Because I didn't prep that specific area. Why didn't I prep? Because I assumed it wouldn't come up. Why did I assume? Because I didn't fully understand the client's current tech stack. See?
Ah, okay. Getting down to the real failure point, not just the surface symptoms. So what's step 3?
Step 3, still this week. Based on that root cause you found, identify one tiny immediate change you can make. Something small to prevent that exact painful outcome next time.
Tiny change, not a huge overhaul.
No. Tiny is key. So in that example, maybe the tiny change is add review client's current tech stack to my pre-meeting checklist. Simple. Actionable.
Got it. And step 4?
Step 4 is making it a habit. The whole cycle. Feel pain, log it, reflect, find root cause, make tiny change, make that loop ongoing. That's how you build the muscle for adapting in 2025.
It reminds me of that story about Dalio himself back in the 80s when he made that huge wrong bet on the economy and almost lost everything.
Exactly. That's a perfect illustration. He didn't just, hide from that massive pain. He dove into it. Why did I get it so wrong? Where were my blind spots?
And that led to his whole system of principles, right?
It was fundamental. That painful failure forced him to build systematic decision-making. For us in 2025, maybe it's admitting publicly, like, hey team, that project we launched, it missed the mark because we didn't validate assumption X. Use the pain to build a principle. We always stress test key assumptions with these 3 methods.
Okay, so we're facing reality, learning from the stumbles. How do we build on that? Make it more proactive for navigating what's coming.
Right, that leads perfectly into Dalio's 5-step process for evolution, or getting what you want out of life. It's like an operating system.
An operating system for 2025. I like the sound of that. What are the steps?
It's a loop. 1, have clear goals. 2, identify problems blocking those goals. 3, diagnose the root causes of those problems. 4, Design plans to get around them. And 5, do what's necessary to push through to completion. Then repeat.
Goals, problems, diagnose, design, do. Okay. Why is having a structured process like this so vital right now, you think?
Because things are changing so fast. Opportunities pop up and vanish. Problems can blow up quickly if you don't address them. This process gives you structure.
Structure to grab the good stuff and tackle the bad stuff quickly.
Exactly. It's a framework you can use for anything adopting new AI, pivoting to a new market, whatever 2025 throws at you. It's flexible but systematic.
Okay, let's break it down. How do we put this 5-step process into action, say, for the rest of 2025?
Step 1, goals.
Right. Step 1, define one hyper-specific, genuinely achievable goal for, let's say, Q3 2025. Not vague stuff like grow my business.
Okay, hyper-specific, like what?
Like automate 50% of my social media content scheduling using AI tool Y by September 30th. Or land 3 paid collaborations in the creator economy, focusing on sustainable brands by end of Q3. Something measurable.
Got it. Crystal clear, trackable. Then step 2, problems. Step 2, actively look for or just log immediately anything that's getting in the way of that specific Q3 goal. Don't ignore the little roadblocks.
So if the goal is automating social media, a problem might be struggling to get the AI tool to consistently match my brand voice.
Perfect example. Step 3, diagnosis. Pick the biggest problem stopping you right now and dig into the root cause. Ask why multiple times. Why isn't the AI matching the voice? Is it the prompts, the training data, my understanding of the tool, who or what is failing here?
Okay, finding the real bottleneck. So for the AI voice problem, maybe the deep why is I haven't dedicated enough focused time to properly train the AI on my specific writing style examples.
Exactly. Now, step 4, design. Create a simple plan. Think like a mini script. Who does what by when to fix that root cause. Make it so clear an outsider could understand it.
Right. So for the AI training plan, by Friday, I, or delegate name, will compile 20 examples of my best brand voice writing. By next Tuesday, I will spend 2 hours actively training the AI using these examples, following the tool's best practice guide. Simple, clear.
That's it. And step 5, do it. Execute that plan, push through, track it visually, checklist, Trello card, whatever works. Make progress visible.
And then iterate.
Then iterate. Once that problem's fixed or the goal is hit, find the next biggest thing, blocking your main Q3 goal, and run the 5 steps again. Constantly.
It really does sound like a personal continuous improvement engine. You mentioned Google using something similar, OKRs.
Yeah, many successful orgs use frameworks like OKRs. It's about aligning everyone, the people, the systems, the whole machine on clear goals and systematically knocking down the barriers. That's how they launch complex stuff like new AI products in this environment.
So for us, 2025 could be this upward spiral of getting better and better if we use this loop, or stuck if we don't.
Pretty much. It's about whether you're actively managing your evolution or just letting things happen to you. This process puts you in the driver's seat.
Okay, makes sense. So we're facing reality. We've got a system for problem solving, but how do we make sure we're even seeing reality clearly, especially with all the noise out there in 2025? Information overload is real.
Great question. That brings us to another huge Dalio principle. Radical open-mindedness.
Radical open-mindedness. What does that mean exactly?
It means genuinely accepting, like really believing that you might not have the best answer. It means fighting your own ego and actively seeking out believable people who disagree with you.
Believable people.
Yeah, people with a strong track record of success in the specific area you're dealing with, A and D, who can explain their reasoning clearly. You don't just listen to opinions, you weigh them based on the person's believability. He calls it believability-weighted decision-making.
Okay, that sounds crucial for 2025. It feels like everyone has an opinion online, often shouted loudly. How do you find these believable people?
It's a critical skill now, isn't it? Relying just on your own view or random loud voices. Super risky, especially with things like AI, market shifts, remote work best practices. They're evolving so fast.
So you need diverse, credible inputs.
You need insights from people who've actually done the thing successfully and can explain why it worked, not just what they think. This is vital for making good calls, especially when collaborating remotely where you might miss nuances.
All right, so how do we practice this? What are the steps to becoming more radically open-minded in 2025?
Okay, 4 steps here. Step 1, anytime you face a non-trivial decision before talking to anyone, get really clear on your own thinking first. What's your conclusion? What's your reasoning? What's the evidence? Maybe even practice saying it out loud.
Okay, solidify my own stance first so I know what it actually is. Good point. Step 2.
Step 2, Identify 2 or 3 people who are more believable than you on this specific topic. Remember, track record plus clear reasoning. Maybe a mentor, a colleague who's nailed this before, an expert whose work you respect. Reach out for quick chat specifically about this decision.
Got it. Targeted outreach to credible sources. Step 3, the conversation itself.
Step 3 is key. Your goal is only to understand their logic. Ask open-ended questions. Help me understand why you see it that way. What am I missing? Resist the urge to argue or defend your view.
Just listen and understand. Harder than it sounds sometimes.
It is. Rephrase their points back to them. So if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying because of X, Y is the better approach. Confirm you get their why. And use that 2-minute rule. Let them talk without jumping in.
Okay. Focus purely on their reasoning. And step 4, after the conversations.
Step 4. Compare their reasoning to yours. Honestly, look for your blind spots. Where do they see something you missed? Then weigh their input based on their believability on this topic. Make the final call based on the highest believability weighted outcome, even if it differs from your initial idea.
Even if it feels uncomfortable or contradicts my gut.
Especially then. That's often where the biggest blind spots are. Make this a habit for important 2025 decisions.
You mentioned Dalio questioning the Fed. How does this apply to, say, an entrepreneur in 2025?
Okay, imagine you're thinking about using some new AI marketing tools. Instead of just reading blogs, you find someone who's verifiably gotten great results with AI marketing.
Right.
You don't just ask what tool, you ask why did that approach work? What was the thinking?
Understanding the strategy, not just the tactic.
Exactly. Then maybe talk to another believable person who used a different successful AI approach. Compare the whys. Stress test the ideas. That's how you get beyond surface level advice and make smarter bets in 2025.
Okay, this ties into another Dalio idea, right? Thinking about people and teams as a sort of machine. How does that fit into managing things well in 2025?
Yeah, it's a core concept for him. He sees any organization or even just a collaborative team as a machine made of 2 parts. The design, the processes, the structure, and the people operating it.
Design and people.
And when it comes to people, he says you have to hire and collaborate based on values first, then abilities, then skills, in that specific order.
Values, abilities, skills. Why that order?
Because values like integrity, openness, drive are fundamental. Abilities are innate talents like creativity or analytical thinking. Skills can be learned. But if the core values or abilities don't fit the role or the team, the machine breaks down, no matter how skilled the person is. And you need to constantly assess that fit.
That feels even more important now with remote work, doesn't it? It can be harder to gauge those deeper things.
Exactly. It's super relevant for 2025. Getting hiring wrong is expensive, especially now. And Dalio stresses knowing the who, their deep wiring, their patterns, is more crucial than just their past what. AI can handle more of the what tasks, but the who remains critical.
So practical steps for building our people machine in 2025. Hiring and managing.
Okay, 4 action steps here too. Step 1, when hiring or bringing someone onto a key project. Go deep on values and abilities. Use behavioral questions. Tell me about a time you had a major disagreement with a colleague. How did you handle it? Describe a situation where you had to learn something complex very quickly. Listen for patterns. And really do reference checks focused on these areas.
Digging beyond the resume. Step 2, matching.
Step 2, explicitly match their core wiring to the actual demands of the role in the 2025 context. If the role needs meticulous remote project management for, say, an AI data pipeline, don't just hire a great visionary who hates details. Be objective. Does their fundamental nature fit the job's core requirements now?
Right, fit for the role's reality. Step 3, once they're on board.
Step 3, continuous assessment, especially early on, like the first 18 months, and maybe more frequently for remote folks. Consistently get input from yourself, from others. How are they really doing? What patterns are emerging? Are they learning from mistakes? Look for that growth trajectory.
Ongoing feedback loop. And step 4, the tough one.
Step 4 is sorting. If, after a fair amount of time and support, say 6-12 months, it's clear someone consistently lacks essential abilities or doesn't align on core values for that role in 2025, you have to make the hard call. Either find a better fitting role if possible or part ways. Keeping people in the wrong seats hurts everyone.
It's like being the architect of your team, making sure the parts fit and function well together.
Precisely. Think of Steve Jobs being obsessive about hiring A players at Apple, or Dalio creating those baseball cards to track traits objectively. You, as the leader or entrepreneur in 2025, are the architect of your human machine. Choosing and placing people well is huge leverage.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Reality, systems, open-mindedness, people. Is there one more key Dalio principle we should hit for navigating 2025?
Yes. One more really crucial one, weighing second and third order consequences.
Second and third order consequences. What does that mean?
It means good decisions look beyond the immediate result, the first order effect. They consider the ripple effects. What happens because of that first result, second order, and what happens because of that third order.
So thinking long-term ripple effects, not just short-term gains.
Exactly. What feels good now might be bad later. And sometimes what's tough now leads to great things down the line.
Why is this particularly critical for 2025? Things move so fast, isn't it hard to predict those ripples?
It is hard, which makes it even more important to try. Because the pace of change means small choices today can have massive unexpected impacts later. Think about adopting AI quickly. First order is efficiency. Second order might be a skills gap. Third order could be needing a huge retraining investment or losing competitiveness.
Or taking on easy debt now,
Right?
big problems later.
Right. Ignoring those downstream effects is dangerous in a fast-changing environment.
So how do we practice this? How do we actually think in second and third orders?
4 steps again. Step 1. When making a significant decision, actively brainstorm those ripple effects. Use a pro-con list, but do it across time. Now, 1 month, 1 year, 5 years. What are the likely consequences at each stage?
Thinking across timelines. Step 2.
Step 2. Choose the option with the best long-term multi-order outcome, even if it's not the easiest path right now. Assume there will be trade-offs, accept some short-term pain for long-term gain if the analysis points that way.
Okay, optimizing for the long run. Step 3.
Step 3. Stress test it with believable others. Use that radical open-mindedness. Ask them, what downstream effects am I missing here? Especially for new 2025 situations where you know you have blind spots about the future.
Get outside perspective on the ripples. And step 4.
Step 4. Where possible, build this thinking into your processes. For repetitive decisions, maybe create rules or metrics that force consideration of longer-term impacts, like always calculating the total long-term cost of a cheap tool, not just the sticker price. Automate the long-term view if you can.
Like that example of a government printing money easy now, inflation later. Or for an entrepreneur.
Yeah, maybe taking the cheapest client contract seems like a win now. First order, cash. But if it burns out your team or prevents you from landing better clients, second order, your growth stalls. Third order. Wrestling with those trade-offs and prioritizing the long view is key.
Wow, okay. So wrapping this all up. Dalio's principles, they sound simple on the surface, face reality, learn from pain, use systems, be open-minded, get the right people, think long-term. But the power is really in the doing, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's straightforward stuff conceptually, but actually applying it consistently. That takes discipline. It takes shedding ego, embracing discomfort sometimes.
Which seems essential for 2025.
Totally. In a world changing this fast, that iterative process, learn, adapt, evolve, repeat, using these kinds of principles, that is the path forward. It's how you navigate the chaos, build something strong, and actually grab the opportunities that are definitely out there.
So the final thought is, don't just let 2025 happen to you. Use these principles to actively shape it.
Exactly. Turn them from ideas into your actual action plan. That's the real deep dive we all need to be doing.